Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going?
How are you today? I prepared.
Oh, really good.
Mm, perfect. I kind
Yeah.
of went. I couldn't hear you anymore. No, I'm totally joking. Sorry. Uh, thank you for being my 12th podcaster.
I make it an even dozen. That's awesome.
Yeah, and my third from Salem, Oregon. So
Oh, awesome.
absolutely, congrats to you.
Yes, thanks.
Did you watch any for a reference or anything?
I watched your first one. You sent it to me, and
Sure.
I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate what you're doing. It's a very honest and I guess raw, not in a weird way, but in a good way, podcast. It's just very natural, and I like the goal. Just
Sure.
talk to your friends you haven't talked to in a while, and um, share that with your other friends.
Absolutely. Uh, I um, cool. Yeah, thank you for participating in uh, in the podcast, and I'm still trying to work out some kinks. There's some that I've posted that I'm like, oh man, this is takes too long to kind of get started, and takes up to probably like minute 2 or 3 for it to settle into
Sure.
a nice conversation. So
Well, I mean, 12th podcast. I'm impressed that you've banged out that many in this short amount of time. But
sure.
in the grand scheme of things, it's not that many podcasts, so you still have
Yeah.
stuff to learn, I guess.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
I think what's interesting about us is we probably talk like once a day.
Yeah.
I mean, at least once a day.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger and stuff, because of our projects together and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and because we like each other. But as far as actually talk, we don't do that as much.
True. That's something that has popped into my mind often is, I think you've even said it, is being friends first and business partners second. And that's why I found it so important. I've even opened up with Joey, which has been nice, on times that you've had to leave our meetings or the times that Joey's had to leave. I've really enjoyed connecting with you as an adult, kind of for the first time,
Yeah, and I think it's because our schedules are so crazy. When we all do align, then we feel like we have to conduct business.
Yeah. Right.
There's no time for being friends.
There is that needs to be taken into account as well. Yes. Are you able to get light on your face?
Yeah.
Would that be too difficult?
Let me.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey,
Welcome
man.
to our show.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Oh, good.
Thank you for being my 12th.
12th. An even dozen, huh? Let me just get this melted candy cane off of my earbuds.
Okay, so I really like to share first impressions, and this is something that I haven't quite done with each podcast, but I think I want to start now. I want to give an intro to people, and I even need to go back and correct some of these, but I need to give an intro to you written language.
Okay.
And then provide kind of the first time I remember knowing about you.
Okay.
I remember coming back on furlough, expecting to meet you. I knew that you were a friend of Joey's, and I felt that you were the new me. That's what I felt at the time. I remember meeting you, and you just appeared in the circle of people. Like there was no. I remember your body language even being kind of swinging, like when you got. It was just confident, and I'm part of this group now. And
I was better at faking it back then.
Sure. Faking it? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Confidence.
Sure. Well, I still think you have that confidence. I still think, I was faking it, sure, but I think now it's not an act. I think you've grown, being a married man, being a man of the Lord, having a good job, all of that eliminates certain insecurities that
It's true.
would still allow you to walk up to that same group today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you walk up to that group, and I think I said something to the effect of I've seen you on Facebook, or I've seen you on some, and you said, oh, I'm taller in person. The fact that you met me with a joke right off the bat was I'll definitely always remember. I think, was it before that you and I had a discussion on Facebook about collages?
Yeah. I think our first interaction was on Facebook because you were in Brazil, and yeah, I was not, and I don't know how we were friends or why we decided to do that. It was middle school, so I think we were a lot more open with our friends or something.
Sure.
But yeah, you said something about kolache and the origin of kolache, which you pronounced kolashi.
Sure.
And I think one of us, or maybe I did, one of us like responded to the other person, was like, no, they're actually a Czech dessert. And you're like, no, they're from Texas. And I was like,
Yeah.
and we like Googled it. It was like a back and forth argument. That was our first interaction.
Yeah. I don't think meeting you in person, I connected that was you for some reason. For some reason, I thought the person I was, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I knew that was you the whole time.
Well, I mean, that says something about Facebook friends.
Yeah, definitely. And especially like adding people you don't know and stuff before you officially meet them.
Yeah. I was nervous when you were coming back because again, this is middle school. I was the new kid at this church. And I had maybe had like a year and a half or something. And I'd solidified myself as like the funny, cool one. I was like the little, I don't know, I wasn't a bad kid, but I was definitely the one that was joking around and always had like a comeback, or always had a way to make a double entendre out of something, or I don't know, or I was like the go-to for, I don't know, anything funny. And but I knew of this Collin that was in Brazil that was supposedly hilarious, and that he was coming back, and I was like, oh man, dude. I was a little nervous. I was nervous because you seemed like you had confidence that I didn't have.
Oh, sure.
Too,
yeah, there was a level of faking it as well, but at the same time, like my mom described on my first time going to summer camp, like fresh. We got there in August, which is their ending their winter, going into summer. So like the first four, this would have been January, so August to January. I don't really know the language at all, but I have some American Brazilian friends who, well, they're American and they speak perfect Portuguese, and they were like, "Do you want to go to Word of Life camp?" Which is Palavra da Vida in Rio Grande do Sul, and I went and I didn't know the language, and one of the directors of the camp described to my mom when my mom came to pick me up as I watched Collin go from group to group to group, conquering these new friends, and he didn't know the language. It was all through character, through dance, through sport. Definitely
a bit of dance.
Yeah, absolutely. On stage as well as just like personal stuff.
That's funny. Yeah, you're definitely able to cross that barrier. You don't need language for that.
Definitely.
You're very physical. Even when you're not physical, just like your face is so expressive.
Yeah, definitely. It's a language I feel like I was born knowing, strangely.
Yeah.
Or a branch of humor, you know. But I can also utilize my faces not only for comedy but for dramatic. Like I can hold a mean mug in public.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I was impressed in a video we just did when you're doing the PSA, and you're very comical in it, and then you're just like you like turn the camera and you're like, there's a reason, blah blah blah, and you're like, there's like this twinkle, you know, so it's like soft but it's serious. I was like, whoa, change in Collin there.
Oh,
it had quite an effect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I don't think I get to hear your observations enough. Maybe I don't give mine enough either, but I really appreciate some things you're able to do on screen. And you, oh man, okay. So David Gillio and I did an episode.
Of this?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We did an episode, and we talked for about an hour, and then we talked for like 2 hours after the podcast. And I can't remember if the conversation about you and I think it happened off camera. I think it would have had to, just by the things he shared. I don't think that would have been in my podcast.
Uh-huh.
But he essentially said that his favorite videos of ours were, can I be honest, those little skits. He said,
oh, yeah?
He goes, you and Nathan have such beautiful chemistry on screen together. And that was really, I was like thinking back, like, oh, wow, yeah, I think so.
That was some of my favorite filming we've done too. Well, I mean, not really. It's fun. Every project is fun. But I remember enjoying that because we were just like banging out videos and it's like, what about this? What do we try this? All right, set it up again. Let's do this. Okay, I've got a take for this. Just work with me here. It felt like, I don't know, we were just creating.
Absolutely. While creating something for your intro, we're also able to do stuff behind the scenes, just really on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he says that. It's really cool to hear. I've always kind of wanted, and not always haven't had the opportunity to do that with you, but I've always thought that would be true. One of the first things, I don't know if it was the first thing, but one of the earliest things I remember about you was discovering you liked old comedians. Like Jerry Lewis is your idol. And I thought that was interesting. I'd watched Jerry Lewis videos growing up as well.
For sure.
And I imprinted on Dean Martin, and who is, in my opinion, a great comedic actor and host. I love the Dean Martin show that happened, his own variety show later on. He had so many comedians go through there. Yeah. And that's how I was introduced to a whole lot of old comedians who weren't even necessarily in their heyday at that time, but he had them on his show. So I'd then go to YouTube and research them. So he's the straight man and he's funny in his own way. And I love it when a straight man is also funny. So both people are working together, and he could do pratfalls, but he like let Jerry take it most of the time. And it just seemed like this give and take. It was so perfect. I loved the last 5 minutes of a show, the Colgate Comedy Hour. Yes. When they're like, so we don't have anything else, but we still have 5 minutes. And then they just like, let's sing a song. Okay. And then they just do a skit and they just make stuff up and yell at the cue card guy.
Some of their best stuff was just like messing with the cameraman, going into the crew, into the crowd. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember experiencing that with you, like probably middle school or freshman in high school or something. You would come over, spend the night. You'd be on like a little rollout bed next to mine, and we'd be like not typical middle schoolers. We'd be like on our phones at night watching like Don Rickles and Jonathan Winters.
I know. Robin Williams on Whose Line.
Yes, we watched that together.
Or Steve Martin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember really connecting. Were you into like? Did we ever connect on like Red Skelton, Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett?
I grew up on them probably even before being introduced to Jerry Lewis.
Same.
But I don't know that we ever connected on them too much.
Three Stooges, man. The friendships that I made from Three Stooges, and like even making secret handshakes that were like, that type of stuff. Yeah, exactly. That was always so much fun.
That's funny. Yeah. So it comes full circle. We get to work together now and do a little bit of give and take on the partnership.
Yeah, really in grammar when it's like compare and contrast, and you got two big bubbles and then they overlap. Yeah. I feel like we definitely have a large overlap, even with Joe as pipe reel.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think any of us are too possessive of that overlap either.
No. And I think all of us are versatile enough to kind of blend into Joey's direction or your direction or mine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We see the value in each person's take.
Yeah.
Like I'm even trying to learn some editing. I haven't done a lot of edited, like a couple of videos, you know, but it's just another skill to add to the thing, especially since we're all busy.
Absolutely. So what are you editing on?
So I was editing like, because they matter less. For practice, I was editing like for the Salem show, like a little after the fact recap, which we can either air right now or before our episode 2. It's actually pretty nonsensical.
I watched it.
Found little funny clips. I thought it was funny. Arranged them in order.
Think there was maybe some tightening up to do, but I totally see what you're going for.
Good. Okay.
And I think some of the parts you definitely like. Oh yeah, no, he nailed it. When you would say something and cut to Joe, you'd be like, okay, and then cutting back to you, like I was, oh yeah,
you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I liked finding stuff, from like reactions or comments from later, or just like things. I realized I said illegal like 6 times. And so like when I was telling my story, I just put illegal. You know, it's illegal, very illegal. So it's actually really illegal. I don't know.
Was that in the clip? Because I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't watch. Oh, maybe I didn't watch the entire thing. I was on it right before this.
Yeah. I was editing it right before this.
Nice.
But it was fun.
On your phone?
I hate. What's that?
Kind of on your phone or on your computer?
On my computer, just iMovie.
Yeah, that's still a good program. You know, it's like pretty standard with any. I don't even think that you can delete it off of your iPhone or computer.
Yeah, I don't know. But I've watched you edit on Final Cut Pro, and it seemed like a lot of the same features, maybe just less, but the ones you were using were all there. So
true. Anything that you want to know, dude, I'm like tutorials. Any sort of YouTube tutorial, you can find anything that you need.
I had to look up something.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Did you? Oh, cool. Good. Very cool.
What was I going to say? Yeah.
So, how has your time been in this quarantine? Specifically with like going to church, have you been finding it like more of a challenge to do it on Zoom as opposed to in person? I don't know even how regular you were with, every Sunday, if that was your schedule at specifically Faith or what, but how has this affected your routine?
Yeah. I like it. I like quarantine. I think the older I get, the more introverted I've gotten, and I like it. We were pretty regular. I mean, almost every Sunday. It'd just be like once in a while we'd miss a week or something at church. But I like it, and I live in Wilsonville. It's like a 40-minute drive, and so I like not having to get up as early to go to church. I don't know. Church kind of seemed very like check it off your list kind of thing.
Sure.
So, I would go, and then it'd be 12 o'clock, and I'd be like hangry, and then I would say hi to a couple people, and I'd leave, and that's that. But then, since the start of this thing, it's been live streamed, and everybody's on, and they're commenting. It's like, hey, so and so, hey, good to see you, brother. Virtually waving from the third row, and it seemed more like I was in touch with more people, and I was in a better mood to start, and I felt like I was in a better place to listen to the sermon.
Oh, wow.
Because I wasn't as distracted,
Yeah.
or as hungry, or I didn't have to get up and get around and be grumpy in the morning.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I found out our church has like a Telegram. I think it's Telegram page, and
or a website.
It's Telegram.
Hmm.
And it's like for sharing needs and updates and things.
Okay.
And I joined that because I was thinking, hey, we could pick up groceries for some of the older people and stuff like that. So I joined that, and then I see, hey, there's all this conversation happening behind the scenes. Everybody's connecting, wanting to help during this time. And so I felt more connected in that way. And it seemed more like true religion. True religion is this, take care of widows and orphans. And it seemed like more like true fellowship than just a Sunday morning thing.
Interesting. Yeah, dude. I feel like this has kind of been a blessing just to give people a mandatory break.
Yeah.
Like, halt your entire routine.
Mm-hmm.
Revisit some stuff, rethink some stuff. and let's try again.
Yeah.
This feels monumental to me. And I know that it is, but it's hard to not let it feel biblical, which would scare me if that was true.
Yeah. For me, I forget when I'm home, kind of, because I have an interesting schedule anyway, where I'm home a lot. And then I head out to get groceries, or I head out to go back to work, and everybody's in masks, and there's no traffic on the roads. And I had to drive to Portland recently, pick up a car that got towed.
Sure.
And it was a ghost town. There's no one on the streets except homeless people. And it looked like a zombie movie. People were dressed like it was a zombie movie. And it was crazy. Like, you would be walking down a block, and there'd be nobody on the next block or the block behind you. It was weird.
For sure. And I haven't spent a ton of time in Portland, so I don't know the norm for how it looks.
Sure.
I guess, but no, I can imagine how that would be strange. Like, shout, nobody hears.
Yeah. It was still stressful. I hate driving to Portland, but
sure.
Yeah, it has been a very, I think, positive reset. For me, I tend to stress about things and over analyze things and try to control things. And this was just a good reset, because it was like, hey man, you're not in control. I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally not. Yeah. Things could change like that. And they did. They changed within pretty much overnight. I was like, oh, COVID. Oh, there's some in Hillsborough. Weird. Everything shut down. And so we had things planned for every day, every evening, and now it's stay home. We'll make one trip to Salem a week, touch base with family, or visit in the parking lot, or go grocery shopping, and then it's home again. I like it. My wife's more social than me, and it's not as easy on her, but
yeah. And then her job, what's going on with?
Yeah, she's a teacher, middle school teacher. And
just Zoom?
Yeah, most of it's she'll do a Zoom description of what to do for the week, and then it's all little slides or packets that they do online, all through I think Google Classroom.
Cool.
And it's very low key though. It's if the kids, it's basically it's not even pass or fail, it's pass or no grade. So because they're giving them a break. Sure. Everybody moves on. And it's middle school.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. High school, your grades sort of matter, but so it's not her favorite because she's a really good teacher.
Yeah.
and she's likes being in the classroom with the kids and engaging them, and they respond well to that. The kids aren't in front of her. She doesn't have that control of them.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be really frustrating.
And it's her first year.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I thought she'd been doing it for a little while.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, first year.
And you guys have been married a year?
Like a year and a half.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So she was just able to get it like, were both of you graduated, or did one of you still have some sort of school left?
When we got married, it was in December, and she still had the rest of the school year to get her bachelor's.
Nice.
So we got married over winter break, basically.
Definitely.
And I had already completed my a few associate's degrees at Shemeketa, and was working at Intel for like a little over a year at that point. I was working at Intel. Did I say Shemeketa? Intel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said Intel.
But Intel. Did I say that though?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was working there.
How long has it been now?
It'll be almost 3 years. 3 years in July.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, man.
Yeah. So the idea was to go back to school. I haven't done that yet. So.
No worries. Like you're still so young, and you have this new legal relationship to like still figure out. I'm sure as newlyweds, there's still a lot of getting to know one another and all that.
Quarantine has been nice and also a challenge because of that. We're just with each other a lot more, which is great because we don't always get to see each other. But then also like, okay, now we have to clash a little more too. So.
Same here. Yeah. Same with our family. It's led to some talks, to some conversations. But I think that it just continues to as long as the steam does not build up to an explosion. If you can continue to like let it off the top a little bit.
A little bit. Hey, I just wanted to, sort of like mention, this, and it's not a big deal, but just wanted to get it out there, it sort of bugs me when...
little pet peeve.
MBD, I haven't been thinking about it all day or anything.
Yeah. I haven't told all my coworkers about it.
You've probably said on some of your other podcasts, but I feel like quarantine has taken its toll on you a little bit. It's kind of been a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Like some good and some bad.
Oh yeah. Month and a quarter of quarantine, and then just under a month back to work, and now I'm in, I think, the calm before the storm.
Because quarantine is taking its toll, or because things are getting back to normal?
So I called in sick on Monday. I was really not feeling good, and I got horrible sleep. So I called in, and then they called me back with some questions, like 6 questions. In the last 14 days, have you experienced a cough?
Oh.
And I had to answer some of them honestly and be like, yeah, actually I have experienced that in the last 14 days. And then they're like, well, you can't come back to work without a doctor's note.
Oh, yeah.
So then I messaged them, I deck out an email. I sent it to my manager, her boss, and headquarters. And I list 3 reasons that I would like to request a layoff from them.
Oh.
But I also list reasons of why I want to stick around, because they are the longest job I've held so far. They have consistently disciplined me, and it's been correct every time, even though it hurts. It gets my attention. I say that to them. I sent that email 24 hours ago, and there's still nothing from any of them. And I'm scheduled for tomorrow. Can't return to work. My doctor is not responding to me. So that would possibly mean that tomorrow, I don't know. I don't know how they would just like immediately figure it out. Without a doctor's note, I don't know that they would lay me off, you know.
Yeah, that's tricky.
So I think I'm in the eye of the hurricane, and I'm just waiting for it to go this way or that way. And
man, it's crazy how much effect Corona has had. It's like, have you thought about being sick recently? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, stay home. I get it, but
it's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't realize I genuinely did feel bad that day.
Yeah.
I was sick that day. And I described it as just making the bathroom my best friend. Like the day before, I had actually puked before going into work. And then going into the next day, it was just, pretty much the same thing. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, hopefully you hear back. Are they usually pretty fast to respond?
I don't know. I've sent an email to headquarters before, and they pretty much just passed me off to Kayla, who's my manager. And then, she never really got back to me either. So I didn't get I could just like straight up not be responded to. I don't know.
But they're not expecting you back at work until you get a doctor's note. I don't think they're expecting a doctor's. Can you just take another sick day tomorrow?
Sure, maybe like paid time off, PTO.
Yeah,
they might be like,
you can get your doctor's note.
Right, and what if I don't get a doctor's note for a couple more days? That might be like, all right, you're stalling or something.
Yeah, I wonder how many people are taking advantage of it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
How long have you worked at Boone's?
June 5th will be a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a while.
And I say, like, I have full intentions of coming back, full swing of things. Just let me get my surgery. Let me be out for like 2 weeks and have that be okay. Because I had my surgery blocked out for April 2nd through the 16th. I had it marked off in our request off book at work.
Yeah.
So I'm just like asking, please allow me to get that.
Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Right.
It's a medical need.
Yeah.
Did you get that figured out? Is it like scheduled again?
No, not yet.
I need to call my orthodontist too.
Really?
I haven't figured out if they'll see me.
Oh. There's a lot of people in my situation too.
Yeah.
And some of this may be actually cut out just because it's been discussed in other podcasts of mine.
Fine.
And McMinimans, if I keep name dropping them and talking specifics.
I was thinking that right when I said Lake Boone's. I was like, but that's okay.
So I'll have to remember that. But
I'm talking because I like talking to you, not just for to be professional.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think it'll be healthier that way.
I chop these up too. I take out any dead air or like awkward beats or anything. I just freshen it up. So
okay.
Yeah, I've been going in and tweaking and like finding the perfect thumbnail, usually of both of us smiling at the same time. Let's try one right now.
Should both do a laughing one.
There we go.
That was a good Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. Dude.
Wow. That was good.
He He
I think
has
if I
one
know
of
how to
the
do anybody's laugh.
right. He has one of the best laughs. I love watching bloopers. Oh, they just released
Yeah.
Afterlife season 2 bloopers on YouTube. It's like
Is
20
season
minutes.
2 out?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I gotta watch that. So when you told me about Afterlife, you're like, oh, check out the show. I don't know. It's kind of like I'm watching part of it. Haven't quite decided yet.
Right.
I wasn't quite married. I got in the apartment. I had like a month, and I sat down and I watched, I think like all of it in a day.
How many episodes?
It's like 8 episodes. They're like half an hour, but still,
Yeah.
I don't binge things like that.
Yeah.
And I did. I don't know. It hit with me, and I really, really liked it.
Dude, I watched like the first 3 episodes and stopped, and I haven't gone any further. But since season 2 has come out, and I watched the 20-minute blooper reel, I need to actually go back, especially since I'll be here for a little while. I need to watch that full thing.
I'm ready for more Comedians in Cars to come out.
True. Same.
I love everything about that show.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the best edited talk shows ever.
Yes. True.
There's like nothing boring about it. And if there's any like dead air or silence, it's purposeful for comedic effect.
Yes.
Beautiful shots of cars, beautiful shots of coffee and of cityscapes, and music is always on point. Everything's on the beat. Like Jerry is professional.
Totally. The cars are always on point with the guest.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love how he does that.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen every single one. I think I've mostly just gone through each season and done because some people I straight up don't even know their name. I don't even know who you are. I'm not interested, but I've watched my favorites.
I think I've watched them all, and I've gone back and watched some of them again.
Sure.
Any with Ricky Gervais, any with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, sure.
Actually, one of the surprising ones, Matthew Broderick, which I was like, I don't find him particularly interesting.
Yeah.
It was one of the better episodes just because he and Jerry had such a good connection, like they're friends, and it just played off really well.
Do you watch Seinfeld's newest stand-up special?
I haven't. I heard good things about it.
Yeah, just released last week.
Yeah.
23 Hours to Kill. Best opening to a special I have seen all year. Yeah, so there will definitely be some editing I need to do with this, but
good luck.
Yeah, that was strange.
So you had to stop to take a phone call from work.
I had to stop to take a phone call from work.
As we were just discussing.
Yes.
That's funny.
It was one that I was expecting and waiting for. Glad that they got back to me, and we'll see what's up from here.
So yeah.
So.
No, you host. Sorry.
Yeah. Are you guys putting things back on your calendar? Are you just really taking it day at a time right now?
You know, my work gave me an extra day off. They're like, thanks for working. Here's an extra day off, with pay. Take it before June, or take it before the end of June. And we're like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
It was nice at work. Nobody was taking time off. So everybody was there. It was never understaffed because I was essential, right? So I worked through the thing. And nobody was affected on my team by COVID. So everybody was there.
Sure.
We were always at as full a staff as we ever are. And it was nice. But yeah, nobody wants to take vacation. There's nothing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, dude.
We're not planning. We actually had like a family reunion scheduled for, I think, beginning of July. Canceled that.
Wow.
No plans.
We still haven't had our March birthday party yet,
Oh yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 birthdays in March in my family. We were all going to do a thing, and then I got canceled.
Well, yeah, and you have somebody that's like at high risk in your family too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of them. My dad and then his two siblings, would be also considered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Aunt Bev with having had breast cancer before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, her immune system probably just isn't as strong.
Oh, dude, there's this at McMinimans. There's this regular customer who comes in. Her name is Claudia. She comes in, very, very nice lady. Gives Christmas presents
Oh, wow.
and has even contacted. I still have a letter sitting here of her friend involved at the Reed Opera House, theater director.
Oh.
She was the bridge for that connection, and during quarantine, she was just out walking, and she just dropped to the ground. She just fell, and she's like, I don't want to guess her age, but late 50s, early 60s. That's
Yeah.
ballpark. And then she started having these migraines, these horrible migraines, and she ended up having a stroke.
Oh my gosh.
And this was a lady who just comes in for at least 2 hours of my shift, like every shift that I work at Boone's. Usually has a couple glasses of wine. She's doing her work there or reading the newspaper or something. And we always get to talking. It's usually nice conversations. She's very, very healthy since the cancer, especially. She also recently had cancer a couple years back. And she's had to learn to walk 3 different times in her life.
Including being a toddler?
The first one, obviously.
Okay.
And then as a kid or a teenager, she was involved in a horrible car accident and had to learn to walk again.
Dang.
And then with this stroke, she's been doing physical therapy, trying to learn to walk.
Dang. Yeah. This thing again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's pretty
Wow.
crazy. Some people are really, experiencing health issues in quarantine that is not corona. And if I was her going through physical therapy or having a stroke and being hospitalized in the ICU, I'd be so scared of corona, dude.
Yeah.
Especially with your body already being upset from what it just went through.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel very lucky. I mean, probably neither of us are especially prone or to dying if we get it. But a lot of people are, and it's hit a lot of people worse too. I think we've been good. We're both financially stable-ish. You got laid off, but you got unemployment and you live with your parents. I worked through the thing, and so it's easy for me to just kind of hunker down and enjoy it, even. But or be like, everybody's overreacting when they're trying to open the thing up, but a lot of people are more hard hit than I am. Not even like by getting sick, but just their finances, their health, their mental health, all of it. Yeah. My family, my dad's in his 70s. So
really, your dad?
I know, right? He still has like dark hair. My grandpa had dark hair like in his 80s.
Sure.
But yeah, he looks good for his age, but he's like 71 or 2. So I haven't been really in contact. We'll do some grocery shopping for him and go over there, and we'll sit on the hood of our car and talk to him from 6 feet away with masks on. But that's pretty much it,
Wow.
And Katya's folks, they're maybe in their mid 50s, but they have like a ton of kids and stuff. So we actually go over there. We sort of consider ourselves quarantined with them. It's not ideal. It didn't make me especially comfortable at first, but I think for their family, it's important. They would be offended if we didn't see them, and I don't know. It's important for them to. All of my family is all like adults, and we're kind of more okay with we have implemented a weekly Zoom chat with my family, even the ones in California.
Oh,
And
cool.
the little kids have been like, we should do this even after this thing.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, we should. So that's cool. We'll be doing that tonight.
Oh, good.
Very cool. But yeah, it's fun. We don't always have a lot of news to share. It's like, what did you do? Well, we were, home.
Yeah.
Did you see that funny YouTube video? Yeah.
Progressed on my puzzle a little bit,
Yeah.
That's what my family's been doing, is like 1,000-piece puzzles and stuff.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience for puzzles.
Yeah.
Or maybe the intelligence. I don't know.
For sure. What's are you consuming media? If games or puzzles aren't your go-to, what do you watch?
We've continued with our shows. Probably the biggest, time draw is just like the unplanned hour on my phone on the couch, that it's not watching a show, it's not texting anyone, it's just like scrolling through Facebook videos and being like, oh crap, there goes an hour.
Yeah, seriously.
We did watch the entire Marvel MCU.
Really?
All 22.
Wow.
22 something movies, yeah.
Sure.
How
long did that take you?
Maybe like, I don't know, 5 weeks or something.
Sure.
We didn't watch one every night or anything, but on our weekends we'd watch a couple.
Yeah. Definitely.
We didn't watch The Incredible Hulk because it was kind of hard to find. We didn't really fit in a whole lot either. And we didn't watch Captain Marvel because we don't really like it.
Yeah.
But other than that, we watched all of them.
I haven't seen any of the spin-offs, and that includes Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. Haven't watched any of those.
Ant-Man is surprisingly good. They surprise me every time. I never go in, even after watching them, I don't never go in expecting much, and then I'm like pleasantly surprised every time I watch them.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the second one?
Second one's almost better.
What?
Yeah, which is rare, right? But
I treat the Star Wars the same way. I haven't watched Rogue One or Solo or Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's the best. It's better than any of the other things, I think. And it has really good directors. Jon Favreau directs. Taika Waititi directs an episode. Bryce Dallas Howard directs an episode.
What?
Jon Favreau's like the executive producer for the whole thing, I think.
Okay.
And I like his style.
Yeah.
It's really good storyteller.
So cool that he's involved with Marvel heavily.
Yeah. Disney.
And, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, he is like nonstop. I watch his The Chef Show on Netflix. There's like 3 seasons every time they do
really?
it. I just binge it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like that he does these like multi-million-dollar budget things, and then he'll do like indie movies like Chef, or I don't have other things, but he's very diversified.
Showcases his different passions.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
I like it every time he's like, his character in Marvel, like Happy, is really good.
Right. Especially in the newer Spider-Man, that whole...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I really like that one. Or he made me like cry in Endgame, when he's like talking to Tony Stark's daughter, and I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, when I watched Endgame for the first time in the theater, I was so glad I was already married, because Koch is right next to me, and from the moment Tony Stark dies, to the end of the movie, which is like another 20 minutes, there's pretty much just like a steady, like not just like brimming. I brim a lot in movies. Like, I like sort of was like hiding, and it was just like drip. I had like a wet spot.
I'm not affected by Marvel movies to that degree.
There's always cheesy elements and stuff, but I'm not a comic book nerd, but the movies got me into it. I watched Iron Man 1 when it came out in theaters in 2008 when I was 13 or whatever I was.
Yeah.
And that's like prime time to watch Iron Man. And then I've watched every movie since. You know,
It's that's crazy.
so it's a huge part of your life. You connect to a character, you know.
Yeah, you've gone through the 22.
Yeah.
How many times? Just once?
No, I mean, I've never watched them all consecutively like that.
Oh, okay.
Except for this time, but I'll go back and watch one, or, oh, this one's on TV, okay, I'll watch it, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Cool.
But I've seen them all.
Harry Potter.
Seen them all.
I've only seen the third one.
Is that the Prisoner of Azkaban? That's in my opinion. Yeah, it's my favorite. Actually, I like that one and Half-Blood Prince.
Okay, is that fourth?
It's like, how many movies? There's like 8.
Yeah.
It's like 6 then, because it's the book. It's the second to last book, and they split the last book in 2.
And you read the books?
No.
Oh, okay. My siblings all read the books, all 7 of them, and then watched the movies.
They're good. My brother watches all of them every year. Like, he and his friends will like rent out a cabin and have like Harry Potter-a-thon, and they'll like go watch it every year.
Is it the same like cabin and horror movie-a-thon that you guys do, Tyler and what's that? What's the other?
Anthony.
Anthony.
No, so my brother is quite a bit older than me, like 9.5 years. You know this, other people don't.
Yeah.
And my first experience to horror movies, it was with Tyler, and it's always been like, usually, or my first experience with zombie movies, we would rent a cabin, and then it's out in the middle of the woods, and we're watching zombie movies, and I'm like 13 or something. Yeah. And horrifying experience. Then they play pranks on me. And,
oh no! Yeah, they're quite a bit older.
So yeah, I threatened to call mom. Then they yell at me for that.
Yeah.
It's funny because we're like really good friends. We're super close, but growing up, of course, we hated each other. Like when I'm like 4 and he's 15, you know.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
6.5 years between Casey and I, and we didn't really start connecting until I was about 13 or 14, and he was like 20 and married. And
oh yeah,
there was a huge shift in how he treated me.
Yeah.
Once we became married and we spent like 8 months apart, and then we saw each other again, it was like a whole new Casey to me.
Huh.
He was just kinder. He would listen. His responses were, and plus he really developed a sense of humor about me, and really found Casey really finds me funny. You know,
notice that
when we're together, and I find him just as funny.
Yeah.
And in his own way, there are times where I just like do this Winnie the Pooh giggle because it's something he did was. I get a lot of my humor from him, so I think it just mirrors and
yeah.
confused.
Yeah. There is something, and it's cool to have that older brother thing. There's definitely times like with Tyler, I just laugh differently than I laugh with anybody else. You know, there's this connection, this understanding. The type of humor with him is maybe different than with anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah. Our inside jokes go back years. We don't even remember where they started or what they originated with, and we've probably tweaked them so that you couldn't even track what they came back from. Yeah, it's good stuff. I think I kind of understand it because my wife has I'm the youngest, but my wife has a whole bunch of siblings, and the youngest when I met him was 8 or almost 8.
Okay.
Now he's like 11. And that's a bigger gap, I guess, than me and Tyler. But it's fun, you know. You get to be the big brother, so there's that.
Yeah.
And then you get to be the fun one, and then you also get to be immature. It gives you an excuse.
Yeah.
It's like with Tyler, he was always fun, but then he always got to do fun things because of me too, it's like an excuse.
And Katya's the oldest?
She's the third oldest. She's the third born, but there's 9 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, 9 kids.
Wow.
So it goes all the way from like 27 down to 11.
Sure. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And her parents are working on learning English. Is that still I remember you expressing that there was a language barrier there.
There is. So they're Russian, and the kids are all pretty bilingual. The younger ones less, because they've been born in the U.S., right? So they communicate with their parents in Russian, but it's half Russian, half English, half. But no, their mom can communicate in English 80% of the time. Their dad probably less, like maybe 50% of the time, or even less.
What about you with Russian?
Oh gosh, it's so horrible. It's not. Oh my word, it's bad. I'm so bad. I've been around it for a couple years now, and I'm like picked up just a handful of words, not even phrases. But it's so different. It's not French. It's not Italian. It's not Spanish. It's not Latin based. When I learned Spanish, everything sounded a little bit like English.
Sure.
And it's the same alphabet ish, and then totally different alphabets. It's rough. I haven't done the best job at studying it out, but
sure.
It's rough. And I like my voice just isn't like, it's not even the same sounds. There's difference. There's like sh and zh, which all sound the same when somebody says it fast.
Yeah, you got to develop the ear for it, and you should get like a Rosetta Stone, even just a page, and really work on some.
I have like the free like Duolingo, but maybe if I paid $100, then I'd actually do it.
Show some initiative, that would mean a lot to them, or.
I think so. Every time I'm over there and like there happens to be a conversation in Russian, her mom comes over. She's like, "Nathan, you understand?" I'm like, "No, I don't understand." Or I'll be like, "I mean, based on context and the 3 English words that were said there, and the fact that I already know the story, yes. But other than that, no."
Sure. Yeah. You get the gist.
Yeah. It's interesting, but we get along. I mean, I don't think there's any animosity there. Their parents are super cool. So.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I can't wait to share the work with you that we have been doing together over the last year, and to keep people updated on future creative endeavors with you. I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
Thank you for your conversation today.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Again, appreciate what you're doing.
Definitely.
All right. Bye.
Peace.